Welcome to True Draco, a truly insanely cheap control deck. It's probably the cheapest deck you could build. You could build it without any ultra rares whatsoever. It's incredibly competitive. It could out the likes of Ultimateness, get rid of that card very easily. You could even deal with cards like Macabre. Let's go. This card is absolutely unstoppable, so I am sneaking in a replay where we're going to lose and show you that we had no way to stop this. The red Nova Supernova Dragon, it's so good, it says that when your opponent's monster effect is activated, or when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you could banish all of your opponent's cards. What? Yeah, banish all of your opponent's cards if I activate a monster effect or I declare an attack. So it's absolutely unwinnable. Or is it?
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
To start this off, we are playing against Tier 1 Zoodiac Tri-Brigade. Zoodiac Tri-Brigade, they set up their turn 1 with the Apollo USA, which will have monster effect negates, two double monster effect negates. It also has the very powerful trap called Tri-Brigade Revolt set on the field, which will summon a Charade Omen during our turn, banishing any of our cards. Now, the True Draco deck is known for being very powerful going first, but I could show you the strength of True Draco going second. We could easily wipe up the field and deal with the monsters with a deck like this. The True Draco deck type is all about tributing your continuous spell and traps to summon themselves onto the field. So right away, we're going to start with our Disciples. Disciples has the ability to give us an additional summon. So we still have a summon for the turn, and we tribute over the spell. Now, when you tribute over the continuous spell, that's going to destroy a back row card in the field. Let's go for the Revolt. Revolt is going to also allow us to chain our Draco Warrior to grab another continuous spell from the deck. Every time your opponent activates a spell or trap or monster effect, you could chain your True Draco to grab a card from your deck. Now, the Apollo does negate it, but it does not destroy. So good summoning. He is going to summon his Charade Omen to banish me off the field. So this is quite disruptive. This is the best deck in the game we're playing against. Very good. He's going to get his searches. Hurry up and banish me, boy. Come on. I don't got all day. All right, boy. And he's searching another Revolt. Holy Chain Link 4. My Jesus. If you want a simplified game experience, then True Draco is going to be the deck for you. It's going to draw, return, search for, Revolt. So we have another Revolt to deal with. Banishing me finally, and then searching a Nerval. Whew. Even on fast forward, this is ridiculous. So we still have our normal summon. We're going to pot a D. Banish 10, draw 2. Hey, we have another spell that we could tribute to summon our Draco Warrior. And unfortunately, it is a hard once per turn to pop the back row. So we are big enough to take out the Apollo USA. And boy, is our hand good after that. Even after being banished, we have the Monarch's Erupt, which is the main reason why we don't play an extra deck. It will negate all monsters on the field except ours. So he's banishing from the graveyard to make his Link Summon play. We're going to chain the Draco Warrior to grab a continuous spell from the deck, and then we're going to chain the Monarch's Erupt. So this little detail right here is important. You want to chain your True Draco to their effects so you get a search, and then chain your negate. You don't have to be the direct chain link to the negate. Negate the kit, and I am not negated. This is a skill drain, but only for your opponent. We now have Heritage on our side of the field. Very good. Now, this is where, as you can see the number under the battle phase, we are in the damage step, which means cards like the Forbidden Droplet can be used. You cannot chain Twin Twisters. You cannot use many cards within the damage step, but by waiting in the damage step, we use the True Draco Apocalypse to reduce his attack. He scoops. Let's go. Woo. All right. Look at this field. This is Drytron. Drytron is one of the top decks of the game. We all know it and hate it because they summon Ultimateness and negate all our cards. Well, guess what? The Ultimateness says when your opponent would special summon or activate a card, that's when it could negate. Now, when you activate your trap in the graveyard, that's not an activation of the trap. That's an activation of the effect of a trap. So since this cannot negate the effect of a trap, it can only negate the activation. So if we could activate our trap in the graveyard, this cannot negate. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. They can't do it. So let's use that knowledge to our advantage. He's going to get his little search of the Beatrice. That's fine. Don't worry about that. We're just focusing on our turn here. Look at that fat hand, and he's got multiple negates. Negate everything, right? Wrong. We're going to set the trap and tribute it immediately. This is not a special summon, so we cannot negate the special summon. Activate the trap. You can't negate this. The Ultimateness could not negate. Pop the Ultimateness. Be gone. Pot of D, we're going to banish 10, draw 2, battle phase. It did not use the Masquerena. I guess he's like shocked. He's shook. He can't believe he wasn't able to negate. Now the card demise, you want to set your entire hand, play this, draw 3. Nuts. And then your other cards will be destroyed during the end phase. It will be sent to the graveyard, unfortunately. Back to our opponent. We really wanted to draw another True Draco. He's going to activate that to special summon. Imperial Order spells are now illegal. It's illegal to use a spell. Negate. We also have Skill Drain. We have another Skill Drain, Monarch's Erupt. We have a no extra deck for that reason. Now, you cannot negate this with your Skill Drain or Monarch's Erupt. It's part of the effect of coming out onto the field. So we're just chilling. Let him summon, do his plays. He's got to do something worth negating, and he is not doing anything worth negating. He's going to grab the Ritual Spell. That is perfectly fine, but the Ritual Spell is illegal. He's going to make Nightingale. He wants to make a freaking Zeus. The Zeus will be able to wipe our field, but if we negate the ability to attack directly, then he does not get to battle, then he does not get to summon Zeus, he does not pass go, he does not collect $200, and we win. Now, Makaba is known as almost being an omni-negate, meaning it can negate everything, but just like the Ultimateness, it can only negate the activation, not the effect of a spell and trap. So, with our trap, very simply, we're going to set it, tribute it, pop it. Even if he has a trap in the hand, he cannot negate. Nothing was negatable, and we are now making our plays. The Heritage will give us an additional summon. We already used up our normal summon. We're going to go in for a ton of damage. We have all monster effects being negated. So many people quickly scooping to this deck. Now, I promise you this is a different game, but we'll pretty much do the same thing. And hopefully it does not scoop right away. We're going to tribute our trap to then pop the Makaba. Cannot negate it with the Makaba. Pot of D, banish 10, draw 2. Pot of D, the other D, look at the top 3, and then grab one of those 3 to the hand. Beautiful. We're going to grab the King's Return, which gets special summon a monster from the graveyard. We're going to poke for 25. Now, with the Heritage, I just want to fill out the back row. We're going to be able to tribute over our monster, so I'm going for advantage. I don't want to pop that back row yet. I'm just going for full card advantage, and the best way to get full card advantage is with the Heritage. Per card type sent to the graveyard this turn, we draw that many cards. So I'm going to draw 2 with the Heritage so far. First, we're going to draw 3 with the card of Demise. Holy crap. Draw 2 with the Heritage. So we tributed a monster and we tributed a trap. So I made sure to get 2. Instead, we could have drawn 1 and popped the back row, but I instead went for the greedier draw 2. So you want to think about how to play the Heritage. Now we have too many cards in our freaking hand because we went for too much advantage. Solemn Judgment, full field negate. Harpy Feather Duster, Solemn Judgment, negate the Fool. Possibly would have been better if we just tributed and popped the back row, that is. That's fine. Raigeki. We're going to chain to Raigeki to grab a card from the deck, a monster, and the traps allow us to tribute summon during our opponent's turn. That's going to be fine with me. With the King Return, you want to summon a monster, then tribute over it before your opponent activates a card. Why do you want to do that? Because the True King activates in response to your opponent's activations. Don't wait for them to make plays. Summon your True King that has to be tribute summoned to then activate in response to their card effect to get free pluses. I get a free plus now. Thank you very much. I would have not received that free plus, and I'm going to negate him anyway. We're going to search our deck for a True Draco continuous spell. Come to me. Negate the entire field except myself. We have the Disciples of True Draco Phoenix on the field now. We got that free little bonus, the boost. I'm going to use the Apocalypse to pop my own spell to take out that back row before it's even activatable. It's not activatable. We're popping it. There you go. Shadow Schism, gone. Newly drawn. This will return 3 cards in the graveyard back in the deck to draw 1. Some great advantage we got there. Let's get that free +1. Did not draw a monster, unfortunately. We already used the True King return during the opponent's turn, so we were not able to summon one during the end phase. We'll summon within our turn just to summon in defense. It's not going to be activatable since it's not a tribute summon. The Fool's going to try again, but he's negated. I don't know what he's thinking. He's not thinking. We're going to True Draco, grab another continuous spell. We could pop a monster. We could pop back row. We are completely unstoppable here, and the Fool is still going to try. Summoning an El Shadow Winda, which is normally indestructible by card effects, but not in this case. He's going to activate the Shadow Dragon, attempting to destroy my True King return, which I will allow. You could do that, but not until I special summon another True King onto the field. Wiping out the trap, now when sent to the graveyard, will activate to destroy a monster on the field. We got a full field, almost full hand. We're going to be drawing a ton of cards next turn. This deck just feels absolutely unstoppable sometimes. Full field negate, reduce all the monsters' attack. Let's go. The field spell is so good, it could destroy a card from the hand or field to search your deck for a True Draco card. You normally want to destroy a card in the field so you can get the effect of the heritage. Per different card type sent to the graveyard, we're going to draw that many cards. So we only had 1 card type sent to the grave. We draw just 1 card. Now we're going to be playing against a super aggro Ancient Warrior deck. They are all about spilling their entire hand on the field. How are we going to stop this full onslaught? So we are going to chain to a card effect to play a True King's Return from the deck face up. This will help us special summon from the grave. He is going to special summon onto the field. Now I'm going to very quickly tribute my True Draco Apocalypse to summon my Dynamite from the hand so I could pop him. I want to pop him, preventing him from special summoning another Ancient Warrior onto the field. So that's going to be our first effect. Get wiping. The dude's got another. So we're going to chain to that effect to grab another Apocalypse from the deck and be face up onto the field. So I did want to get this out on the field, and look at that. Soft once returned, both can activate. I'm also going to use the True King's Return to summon my Majesty Maiden onto the field, and now we got this back. All right, very good. He is going to pop me, and that is fine. Full freaking field. He's going to destroy me. This dude is going all out of me. I'm losing pretty much everything. That's going to go back to my hand, I believe, right? Or am I being destroyed? Return, or not yet. Whoop, and I'm gone. Look at that. My whole field is freaking gone. Well, I'm going to use the effect of the True King Return to perform a tribute summon during their turn. Tributing the spell to pop his back row, not really a big deal. Now to battle phase. We are in big trouble, or are we? We are in damage step, sub-step 2. This is before damage calculation. We are going to permanently reduce the entire field while popping the True King's Return, also taking out a monster on the field, swings into his death. He cannot call off the attack. Perma reduced. And he's going to pop me. I'm going to grab another True King Return. This is endless. This is endless. It's nuts. Endless recursion, endless pluses, endless pop, and endless reducing. Let's go. So we're just going to get to the end field. You know what? We should actually show them building up this field because maybe you want to do this. This is a deck I want to play. Holy crap. Because the monster he summons is actually freaking nuts. Very simple to do so. 3 tuners. And that makes the red Supernova Dragon. This card is absolutely unstoppable. So I am sneaking in a replay where we're going to lose and show you that we had no way to stop this. The red Nova Supernova Dragon, it's so good, it says that when your opponent's monster effect is activated, or when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you could banish all of your opponent's cards. What? Yeah, banish all of your opponent's cards if I activate a monster effect or I declare an attack. So it's absolutely unwinnable. Or is it? Let's see. Oh, and by the way, it cannot be destroyed, right? It says that it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So it's giant, can't be destroyed by card effects, and I can't attack nor activate monster effects. So I can't use my Apocalypse to pop it. We're going to be pulling cards from the deck, hopefully something that could help us. I don't have a skill drain. I don't have a negate. How am I going to deal with this, mate? We're going to use the Disciples. And we're going to tribute summon for our Dynamite to pop that back row card, taking out the Called by the Grave. I'm going to tribute again over my True Draco to keep my back row, because I have the True King to return it back on the field. So what kind of nonsense is he going to be doing now? The normal summon, special summon. He's going to gain 5,000 freaking life. Now it's 6,000 attack. Crystron Hulk. Okay, I'm not sure what nonsense he is doing. He is Shokaning into Unicorn. Unicorn is going to return a card I control back into my deck. This deck seems absolutely unstoppable, right? I'm going to pop my Ignis Heat to reduce. 7,000 attack gets reduced down to 3,500. He's still huge. Still freaking huge, but that's okay. Axis Code Talker. I mean, what can you do here, right? Nothing. You're done. It's over, but at least you got to see this. Or did you? He is going to go to the battle phase. Hits me for 35. 5,300. I was hoping he would pop a trap because then I would pop him. We're going to desperately summon to block the attack. Attack has been blocked. Very good. If I were to summon before he activated to destroy cards, he could have popped my monster, then attacked for game, and I would have lost right there. Taking out the trap is going to take out the Axis Code Talker, since we cannot destroy this by card effects. He's going to be searching for a Resonator. That is fine by me. We're going to Pot a D, hopefully be grabbing into a very good card, and I see a very good card. You're going to see it right now. The card of Demise will help me draw 3 cards. Get drawing. This card is so broken. Ooh, now we got some negates. We're going to Dragonic Diagram, pop a card in the field to then grab our Majesty Maiden. We're going to additionally summon Tributing off a Skill Drain. Alrighty, 2,600. Let's go. Battle phase, damage step 2, pop the spell, reduce. The unstoppable monster has been stopped. Fool. Holy moly, I love this deck so much. It is surprisingly simple and also complex at the same time. You have damage step rulings with the True Draco Apocalypse. Using this in the damage step to pop your own monster while they're battling into you essentially negates an attack and also reduces them permanently. Tributing over your traps to trigger them in the graveyard, playing around cards like Ultimateness, as they can't negate the effect of the trap, they can only negate the activation, so it goes right through and pops their monsters. You want to save a card like Solemn Judgment for full board wipes. Harpy Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, if they're going to potentially make a Zeus. You want to stop the Zeus, negate the Zeus, evenly match. That's what Solemn Judgment is for. We have Imperial Order because it's a free win versus many decks. You want to be using the Disciples to recycle your deck. You want to get the most advantage out of your True Draco Heritage. It's all about tributing your continuous spells and traps. You have your regular normal summon every turn, but with the continuous spells, that's additional summons. So you could summon 3 times in a single turn. You could use Disciples to perform an additional summon, but remember, you don't have to use the Disciples to tribute itself for that additional summon. You could tribute another card you have. If you have a skill drain that you don't want to use because you already have the Erupt, you could use the Disciples to do that additional summon over the skill drain. Then you could use your real summon to tribute summon over the monster on the field. Now, why would you want to tribute over your monster on the field? Because of the heritage, per different card type you get in the graveyard that turn that is a True Draco card, you're going to draw that many cards that turn. So if you could use the heritage to tribute summon over a trap and then tribute summon over your monster with your regular summon, this is pot of greed. You now draw 2. That is nuts. Make sure you get your True Dracos onto the field before your opponent activates their card effects. That's on your turn and their turn. So what's a very popular card that everyone's using? It's Ash Blossom. Well, what are they going to Ash Blossom? They're going to Ash Blossom your Pot of Duality, your Pot of D, your Card of Demise. So instead of activating these right away to dictate your plays for the rest of the turn, just get a True Draco out in the field. You don't have to really think about it. Get the True Draco out, then Pot of D, either D, and then when they activate the Ash Blossom, you get to chain to your opponent's card effects. And these are all soft once returns. If you have 2 Dynamites onto the field, they activate a card effect. You could activate one of your Dynamites in response to the card effect. And then if they activate another card effect, you activate the other one. So this will search for continuous spell traps. That is, you could play them onto the field even during your opponent's turn. That's very good. This will search and play continuous spells, and this will search and play the monsters. So if you want to add monsters to the hand, very important to tribute summon during your opponent's turn. Again, you don't have to tribute over the trap. You use the trap to perform the additional summon during your opponent's turn, but you don't have to tribute the trap to do so. So a very good play with the King's Return is with your toggle on before your opponent's about to activate a monster effect. Let's say you're playing against a deck like Tri-Brigade. Tri-Brigade is going to activate their Fractal or their Caress right away. If you have a way to get a true Draco on the field before they activate those cards right away, you want to do so you could chain to their effect to get a free plus. So with the True King Return with your toggle on, special summon a monster from the grave. Then activate the True King's Return second effect to perform that additional summon from a monster from the hand to tribute over the monster you summon from the grave. Now you have a tribute summon monster on the field where you can now chain to your opponent's card effect to get that free plus. So the deck is incredibly consistent. Plus with Desires, plus with D, get the card of D, set up the Solemn Judgment, get a full monster effect negate, wipe on that, negate. You do want to prevent the wipes with your Solemn Judgment. Sorry, I bugged out for a second. I am computer programming. The Monarch's Erupt is not going to negate your own monsters like Skill Drain does, so be very careful. If your opponent activates a monster effect like Banishing from the graveyard, don't chain your Erupt to it. Chain your True Draco to it, then chain your Monarch's Erupt to your True Draco. Don't make that mistake, because if you were to do the other way around, you will negate them with the Erupt, but then not get a free +1 with your True Draco, and the Erupt does not negate your True Draco. So there's a lot of little small ways where you could make mistakes, but if you optimize chaining your True Dracos to your opponent's card effects, optimize gaining pluses off the heritage, make sure you set or activate your cards before you destroy it with your field spell, then you're going to be on the path to victory. This is a very fun deck, very cheap to play. You don't have to play Solemn Judgments, nor Imperial Order, nor the Terraforming, but I do highly recommend it. This deck is nuts. It's one of my favorite control decks. Let's go.